The Los Angeles Lakers took care of business this past offseason. But tonight I want you to picture something simple but powerful. The paint actually belongs to us again. The rim sounds like a locked door. And Anthony Davis isn't burning through his legs wrestling with every 260-pound center for 82 games. He's roaming, timing, pouncing because the front line finally has a true anchor. The kind of piece that turns long rebounds into runouts and half chances into second possessions. And if you've watched the West the last few years, you know that one detail alone separates teams that dream from teams that win. Stay with me, because I'll tell you exactly how the Lakers just changed their season, why it shifts our rotation math from patchwork to purpose, how it helps LeBron manage mileage without lowering the ceiling, what it means for Austin Reeves and our shooters, what numbers I'm tracking over the next 10 games, and yes, the part you're waiting for, the move itself, comes when I connect all these dots and show you why it isn't just a headline. It's a blueprint that actually makes basketball sense in May and June, not only in October. And I'm saying this as someone who's lived every high and low with you. For once, our best bet isn't a miracle trade or a veteran minimum Hail Mary. It's a hand-in-glove fit that puts our stars in their best places and gives Darvin Ham and this staff a clean, repeatable identity on both ends of the floor, night after night, matchup after matchup, without begging AD to be the answer to every question on every possession, which is exactly the trap that's drained him in past runs and forced LeBron to play firefighter too early in the year when he should be pacing for spring. So here's the logic, and then the reveal, because the logic is what proves this is real. Start with the job description we've been begging for, a 5 who screens with force, runs the floor, cleans glass on both ends, lives at the front of the rim in pick and roll, and doesn't require 20 post touches to stay engaged. Add in soft hands for pocket passes from LeBron and Reeves, a willingness to do the invisible things, rescreens, seals, delay actions at the top, dribble handoffs into Spain pick and roll, and enough touch from 8-12 feet to punish teams that drop so deep they basically camp in the restricted area. Defensively, what we needed wasn't a switch. Everything unicorn. It was someone comfortable in drop who can take away lobs, contest without fouling, and end possessions with two hands, not volleyball taps. That's the profile, and the reason it matters is because it lets AD become the free safety again. More at the 4 in certain units. More roaming weak side, more coming from the second box to detonate drives, exactly where he breaks series open in May. The ripple effect is obvious if you've watched the film. When AD is allowed to be the chaos creator instead of the human sandbag, our defense layers properly, our wings can top-lock shooters without panicking about the back line, and our guards can trail screens knowing the backstop is waiting to erase mistakes. That's identity, and identity travels. On offense, I'm circling 3 actions we will spam and should spam. First, early clock drag screens where our 5 sprints into a high pick for LeBron, not to hunt mismatches, but to force 2 on the ball and trigger paint touches before the defense is set. Second, Chicago action, pin down into handoff, with Reeves, which works only if the big is a credible handoff hub who can keep the ball above his head, take a hit, and still deliver the pass on time to a shooter turning the corner. Third, deep seals after switches, because when teams switch lazily, we should punish with old-school hit-ahead and bury rim runs. This is less about post-isolations and more about positioning early so the entry is a dunk or a foul, not a 6-dribble back-down that kills pace. The beauty of these 3 actions is they exist within our current personnel, and they keep our best shooters' feet set while demanding the opposing 5 choose between protecting the rim or contesting the pop. And yes, I hear the spacing question already. Ayton doesn't live at the arc, but remember, spacing is a product of gravity and timing as much as it is of 3-point attempts. If the big sucks and a second defender on the roll, that's spacing, because it creates corner threes and slot drives. If he sets a screen that forces top-lock help, that's spacing. If he triggers an offensive rebound kickout, that's spacing. Do I want more 3-point volume from the roster? Absolutely. But the right rim threat can increase 3-point quality without inflating empty volume. Now, let's talk numbers, not vibes. Historically, Ayton has lived around a double-double with efficient finishes at volume. Not because he's a heliocentric scorer, but because he understands where to eat. Dunks, short hooks, drop-offs, putbacks, and his efficiency is a feature, not fluff. Early returns in purple and gold already show a healthy field goal percentage, solid rebounding, and a role that doesn't require him to be Embiid to matter. That stability helps our second unit too, because it lets the staff stagger minutes so one of AD or Ayton is always protecting the rim. And that alone removes those Death Valley stretches we've all suffered, where the lane turns into a layup line and our half-court offense becomes one and done. Add in the fact that he's durable when managed properly, and you have the boring, beautiful regular season value we've missed. Show up, grab 9 to 11 boards, screen with violence, hit 2 short roll jumpers a week to keep defenses honest, and be the adult on the back line. It's not sexy on a graphic, but it moves the win column. Cap-wise and timeline-wise, this is the rare move that respects the present and the future. The deal structure is short enough to preserve flexibility, read wiggle room next summer if a star shakes loose, while being long enough to install a system and let habits stick. If you followed how the new CBA punishes teams that stack salary without surplus value, you know why this matters. We can build continuity without locking ourselves into slow-footed lineups that die in 5-out track meets or foul trouble spirals. Also, placing Ayton between our playmakers turns LeBron's passing into a cheat code again and simplifies life for Reeves, who functions best when the advantage is created for him and he's told to just make the next read. It also gives us more honest looks for our shooters because you're not asking them to generate advantages off the bounce. You're letting the big create the distortion and trusting them to cash out. Rotations? I'd expect minutes where AD and Ayton share the floor selectively against bulkier front courts. Think Denver minutes where Jokic forces you to choose between size and speed, and plenty of staggered time where one anchors each unit. The small wrinkle I'm begging to see is 2-man actions with LeBron screening for Reeves while Ayton lurks in dunker spot. Why? Because it's phone booth basketball that uses LeBron's gravity as a screener. And as soon as help tags the roll, the dump to Ayton is right there for a quick finish, or, if the low man commits, the kick-out 3 is gift-wrapped. The other wrinkle is Spain pick and roll with Reeves as the back screening guard, which, if timed well, forces the opposing 5 into a no-win choice and gets Ayton free for lobs without over-dribbling. Tiny things, but tiny things in May swing Game 5 on the road. Concerns? Of course there are. Motor has always been the word with Ayton, and the best version of him is loud on the glass and nasty on seals, not drifting at 17 feet, taking turnarounds early in the clock. Our staff's job is to hardwire expectations. First 3 steps in transition are a sprint, not a jog. 2-hand rebounds with elbows wide. Ball screens set to hit a chest, not a shoulder. If he lives in those boring fundamentals, his talent does the rest. Defensively, discipline matters. Verticality, not swipes. Box-outs, not flybys. And communication. If you listen for it, you can hear good defenses talk. I want to hear him. The way we'll know it's clicking is when our opponents stop getting second-chance corner threes and our guards start cheating over screens because they trust that the lob behind them is dead on arrival. That's the trust loop we've missed in key moments the last 2 seasons. All right, here's the moment. And you probably felt it coming because all the basketball reasons point the same way. It's official. The Los Angeles Lakers have signed Deandre Ayton as their starting center. A 2-year commitment with short-term flexibility and a defined role that finally lets AD conserve his best late-series energy while giving LeBron a vertical threat who turns simple actions into high-percentage shots. This isn't just a depth chart update, it's a philosophical shift. We are back to a rim-first approach that punishes teams for switching lazily. We have a safety net on nights when shots don't fall. And our film sessions can build on a stable foundation instead of reinventing ourselves every 10 games. I'm telling you straight, this is the kind of mid-cycle correction that often separates fun playoff team from dangerous 6-week problem, because it cleans up the messy possessions that decide coin flip series. And if you've been with me on this channel through the wins and the migraines, you know I don't throw around words like identity and fit lightly. I mean the math and the film agree for once, and as a fan, that's the best feeling. Zooming out, Think about the West race we actually have to win. Denver still beats you with patience and angles. OKC runs you into decision fatigue. The Clips hunt your weakest defender and make you pay with size. Minnesota wants to bludgeon the paint and dare you to match length. And Golden State still tests your pick-and-roll discipline with split cuts and relocation. Ayton helps in all 5 matchups in different ways. He lets us stay bigger against Jokic without breaking AD. He gives us a runway against OKC's pace because long rebounds become runouts. He shortens the Clips' mismatch buffet by letting us keep better defenders on the floor longer. He gives us a body to lean against Gobert Naz without conceding the glass. And he supports our switches versus the Warriors by anchoring the paint when they turn the corner. It's not a cure-all, no signing is, but it's the right lever for the problems we actually face. Not a shiny move for headlines that ignores our real pain points. Now, because I'm me and I'm honest with you, I'm putting 3 accountability checkpoints on the board for the next month. First, screen assists per game. If Ayton isn't freeing bodies and creating real advantages, we'll see it here. Second, contested defensive rebounds. This is the stat that tells you he's finishing possessions in traffic, not padding numbers in clean air. Third, points per possession when he's the roll man. If that number sits top 3rd in the league, it means we're using him properly and he's rewarding the trust. If those 3 indicators are green, you'll feel it without checking a box score. Because the offense will look stress-free and the defense will stop giving up the soft stuff that kills us late. One more thing that matters and nobody talks about enough: peace. When the 5 spot is solved, rotations don't feel like auditions anymore. Role players stop pressing, shooters stop aiming, and even the stars breathe a little because the game has a cadence. There's a calm that comes when you know what your team is supposed to look like, and that's when the fun starts. If you've watched LeBron teams over the years, you know he thrives when there's a vertical target to keep weak side defenders honest, and you know AD's scariest form is the freelancing destroyer. That's the version we just bought room for, and if we hold that line through the dog days, it's the version you'll see when it counts. Before I land this, I want you in this conversation with me. Are you convinced this is the right kind of big for our core? Or would you still chase a stretch 5 who lives at the arc even if it costs rim protection and rebounding? Do you prefer the simple ruthlessness of a roll and finish guy who cleans the glass? Or would you trade some physicality for spacing? And if you could add one more complementary piece around this front court, what is it? A low-turnover secondary ball handler? A bigger wing who can guard up a position? Or a high-volume movement shooter? Tell me in the comments how you'd shape the next move. Because you know I read every take and bring your best points into the next breakdown, so we keep this community sharp and honest. Quick final read from me. This signing gives the Lakers a sturdy, no-nonsense identity, drop coverage with real rebounding, a vertical roller who converts advantages, and the freedom to let AD be the series breaker again, while keeping the books flexible enough to adjust in season. If Ayton nails the boring habits nightly, the upside is a cleaner, heavier team built for playoff possessions. If you're rocking with that plan, make sure you're subscribed to Lakers News Fan Report, tap the bell so you don't miss my instant reactions, and hit like so more Lakers fans find this breakdown. I'll be here after every game with quick updates and deeper film dives because this season just got a lot more interesting and I'm not wasting a minute of it with you.